Hey everyone, a very warm welcome. Today we are going to dive into something exciting and very useful for your SAT math preparation, the Desmos Graphing Calculator. It's an amazing tool that provides visual complex math problems in seconds. By the end of this session, you will feel confident using it for your SAT success. Let's now focus on how to launch and navigate the Desmos Workspace, which is the first step in efficiently using this tool for SAT math practice. You can go to www.desmos.com/calculator. There is no need for registration, making it quick and convenient to start using. For SAT students, it's essential to note that Desmos is also fully integrated into the digital SAT test environment, so you won't need any additional setup during the actual exam. Benefits of using Desmos. Desmos offers a highly interactive and intuitive interface for graphing functions, visualizing solutions, and solving complex equations. The workspace is clean and easy to use, with options to input equations, create tables, or explore data trends visually. An account is only necessary if you wish to save your graphs, but it's not required for solving problems or practicing. By getting comfortable with launching and using Desmos, you will be ready to integrate it seamlessly into your SAT preparation. Creating and managing graphs. Let's now talk about how to create, manage, and organize graphs in Desmos, an essential feature for students who want to save their progress and revisit concepts later. Creating Desmos account. To assess the ability to save, name, and retrieve graphs, you will need to create a Desmos account. Signing up is quick and easy, and once you're logged in, you can save your graph for future use. Without an account, any graph you create will not be stored and cannot be retrieved directly from the interface. So this is a good step if you'll be practicing regularly or building a library of SAT problem solving methods. Managing graphs. Once logged into your account, Desmos provide tools to rename, duplicate, delete, and manage your saved graphs. For example, you can organize graphs based on topic like linear equations, system of equations, or quadratic functions. This feature makes your SAT preparation more efficient by allowing you to quickly revisit and refine methods for specific type of questions. In the Desmos, you can make graphs. For example, I'm making y is equivalent to 2x plus 3. I just looked into this linear equation. I see the x and y intercepts. And then if I need to save it, I just click on save. I just make it linear equation 1 and want to save. So I click on save. So the graph is being saved. If I need to rename it, I just click over here and click on rename. I can rename to whatever name I want and then save it back again. If you want to delete the graph, you just need to click over here. You can see your saved graphs. For example, this is the graph that we just saved, linear equation 1. You just need to click on this cross to delete the graph. So just clicking on this graph, it will be deleted. So it is deleted. Now let's discuss the Desmos URL system. Understanding the Desmos URL system, which plays a key role when sharing and updating graphs. Now, how it works and what you need to keep in mind. URL generation behavior. Desmos generate a new URL each time a graph is saved or modified. This means that even if you make small changes to an existing graph, it will result in a different URL. Over time, the same graphs may have multiple URLs, especially if it's frequently updated. Understanding this behavior is important when organizing and sharing your work. Implications of sharing. When you share a URL, it receives only the version of the graph saved at the time the URL was generated. If you edit the graph after sharing the link, the changes won't reflect in the previously shared URL. To share updated version, you will need to generate and share a new link each time. This ensures that others can access the most recent version of your work, but requires careful management if collaborating on SAT problems or projects. So let's understand this particular thing. As you see, we saved this graph. If I want to share this graph to anyone, I just need to click over here, share graph. It will generate a URL. I can copy this link and share it to anyone. I can share as an export image also. The whole image will be shared, but the link can be shared. Now, the time I'm sharing this link will be sharing this particular graph only. For example, I make another changes over here. Like for example, I did y is equivalent to x square. Now I found the intersecting points. And now at this particular moment, I want to share this graph. So it should have a new URL. So every time you make some edits, you need to share the fresh URL. The URL will get changed. So always remember that Desmos generates a new unique URL each time a graph is saved or modified. Navigating the Desmos workspace and entry controls. Let's take a closer look at the Desmos workspace and how to efficiently use its entry controls for SAT math practice. Understanding the interface is crucial for maximizing energy during problem solving. Here's a breakdown. The very first is a graph area and entry plane. The Desmos interface is divided into two main sections. The very first is your graph area. So if I just draw a line, this one is your graph area, and this one is your entry plane. The graph area, this is where all the plotted functions, equations, and data points are displayed. The entry plane, this is located on the left side and allows user to input expressions, equations, and data tables. You can type equations directly, create slides for variables, or set up data tables to explore relationships visually. Controls for entries. The entry controls in Desmos are highly versatile. You can show or hide individual entries using the toggle buttons next to each item in the entry plane. Desmos provides specific controls depending upon the type of entry. For example, if you're plotting points in the table, you will see options to add more rows or graphs a line of best fit. If you are entering a function, you can adjust its domain or add sliders to test variable changes. Let's explore this thing. For example, I'm writing the linear equation in the slope intercept form, that is y is equivalent to mx plus c. You will see that the entry plane is allowing me to add sliders for m and c. When I add sliders, I can see that I can slide between them. So for example, m is my slope. So I can make changes and I can set that value. Similarly, c is my y-intercept, so I can change that values. Similarly, if I'm writing any decimal value, for example, 2.5, if I want that this decimal value should be integrated in the fraction form, I just need to click over here. If I click over here, the value is 5 by 2. So controls for entries totally depend upon that what you are entering inside of this entry plane. We'll explore more in the coming videos. Let's take a look at some of the key settings in Desmos that you can use to customize your graphing experience and optimize it for SAT math problem solving. These features are particularly useful when working with complex graph or specific problem requirements. To access the settings panel, click the wrench icon in the top right corner of the Desmos interface. From this panel, you can adjust several important display options. Toggle between radians and degrees. So you can definitely toggle between radians and degrees. So this is your radians and this one is your degrees. If you click on radians, you can use the entry plane for radians. If you click on degrees, you can use the entry plane for degrees. Enable or disable features like the grid, minor guidelines, or axis numbers, which help in visualizing graphs with more precision. So you can toggle between the grid options. You can make it circular, you can make it rectangular, squareable, all of that you can do. Another option is adjusting axis and zoom. So you can use the setting panel or the zoom controls to refine the axis display or adjust the zoom level to bring the graph from clear focus. Let's understand. Now I will see that this is the setting menu. If I click on this, I can name or label the axis. For example, I want x-axis as numbers and I want y-axis as sales. So when you click on this, you will see that this is being displayed as sales and numbers. This is your sales and this one is your numbers, right? Again, you can use positive and negative signs displayed over here below this red sign. This is positive, this is negative. You can use these signs to zoom out and zoom in. So you can zoom out and this is for zooming in. A home button is always available in the case you are zoom out or zoom in. Once you are at a standard place, it is not there. But once you zoom out, the home button is there, or if you zoom in, the home button is there. These controls are especially helpful for SAT problems that require you to identify points of intersection or analyzing specific sections of a graph without excessive scrolling. Using interactive features, Desmos has interactive features that make solving SAT math problem easier. For instance, you can drag points to see how they affect the graph or zoom in to analyze specific regions. I'll talk about the draggable points in a minute. You can also quickly find key data like maxima, minima, and intercepts. This is a game changer for graph-based equations on the SAT. Let's see this. If I make a journal equation, for example, y is equivalent to 3x plus 4, I can see these numbers. If I want to drag it between, for example, I can drag it out. I want to check that what is the value of y when the x is negative of 1. So I can go over here and I can see that this is negative 1, the value of y is 1. So I can drag between the points, first of all. For example, I am making another equation that is y is equivalent to x square. Now I make a parabola also. At this particular parabola, you can see that I can easily find the intersecting points. Now, one intersecting point is in front of me, but if I want to see the another intersecting point, I need to zoom out. So that I can do. Zoom out and zoom in is a very quick and easy feature that you can also use with the help of your scrolling feature that is available in your mouse. Scrolling down will make you zoom out, and definitely scrolling up will make you zoom in. That wraps up our session for Desmos. It's an essential tool for SAT math, and participating with it will make graphing problems feels intuitive. Thank you for being such a curious and engaging group.